someone on the faculty at Berkeley, the Environmental Health Program had a training grant in industrial hygiene and toxicology from the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. That subsequently morphed into an educational resource center, which also involved teaching programs in occupational medicine and nursing at UCSF. Ronald Reagan tried to shut down federal support of most health science training programs early in his administration, and which motivated the dozen or so ERC directors around the country to hire a lobbyist to continue the program. That was successful in the Congress, and the ERC program has continued to operate to the present time. When it came my turn to serve as president of the National ERC Group in 1984, and the principal duty of the president was to work with the lobbyists to keep the train on the tracks. His name was Bill Phillips, who had earlier been a Democratic staffer in the House. He was a very nice guy and certainly contributed to my education in a new dimension. Sometime during my presidential year, Bill complained that keeping the ERCs afloat was a lot more work given the amount of money involved, and that we should think of some way to fund the enterprise that involved less work and more money. Moreover, he clearly felt that probably meant moving beyond NIOSH, given the institutional industrial opposition to anything new and useful in the OSHA-NIOSH realm. That year, there were pending amendments to CERCLA, the Superfund Authorization Bill originally passed in 1980, which I imagine suggested to Bill that Superfund offered a more promising pathway. I authorized him to spend some of his time exploring what that might look like and how it might be fostered. At Bill's suggestion, we also invested in a second lobbyist who had experience with the legislative committee involved in Superfund. Eventually, the idea emerged as the version that appeared in the Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act of 1986. I can't be sure that Bill's idea was the actual genesis of the Superfund program that emerged at NIEHS, but I like to think so, and that the ERC director's early, albeit small, investment was important. I can say for sure that I had no role in the considerable work that went on in the interval between the 2 years between 1984 when this started and the ultimate inclusion in this bill. But I certainly celebrate those who were involved in those 2 years in making it happen. During the period in which these events were taking place, I was serving as the director of the Northern California Center for Occupational and Environmental Health, which also had legislative origins, but at the state level. The COH involved academic programs at UCSF and Davis, as well as Berkeley, and it was unusual in that it brought new faculty FTE, and 3 in particular to the School of Public Health, one in toxicology, which was Martin. By the time the research program, the Superfund research program, became a reality, Martin learned the ropes at Berkeley and led the development of the successful Berkeley UCSF proposal to establish a center here, whose accomplishments in education as well as research and its remarkable longevity we're here today to celebrate. Clearly, he has management skills as well as the scientific acumen to achieve success in both realms. But to keep the program scientifically relevant as well as meeting the programmatic requirements of the funding agency over all these years is no mean feat. Many of you are beneficiaries of his talents in these regards, and I'm sure we all wish him well as he retires from the things he doesn't want to do, and I presume continues very much as usual with the things that he does.